Thanks for coming along to the prize giving for the Seldén Sailjuice Winter Series. I'm sorry I can't be there with you at the dinghy show, but I tested positive for the dreaded you-know-what. It's been a difficult winter in many respects, but it was a lot easier than the winter before, and things do seem to be getting better bit by bit. But what's really clear is that the passion for grassroots dinghy racing is as high as it's been for a long time. It takes a lot of combined enthusiasm and commitment to make sailing events happen, and I want to thank everyone who contributes to making the Seldén Sailjuice Winter Series happen each year. The sailing clubs, the volunteers, our sponsors, particularly Seldén, who have been with us for 4 years now, the Great Lakes Group, who work hard to make handicap racing fairer than it's ever been, Tim Olin, our talented and tireless photographer, Jon Emmett, not just a great sailor, but a great friend who is kindly stepping in for me at the last minute today when he should be taking his wife on holiday. Claire and Simon Lovesey, who worked so hard to bring it all together throughout the 4 months of the series. And the competitors, not just the prize winners, but all of you who drive the hard miles and sail the hard yards throughout the winter. Have a great prize giving, and I look forward to seeing you later on this season.
I'm not sure whether to say, well, thanks, Andy. I don't know if he put his makeup on, but he does look generally ill, so I think we can probably let him off. Sorry for the feedback there. And I'm happy to be here to try and do a job in his stead. So we're going to very quickly run through the prizes. So if people are here, please do come up. I'm going to try and keep to the script. So Andy was very keen that I had this. So I will try and do him justice. The event actually started with the Draycott Dash, which was the only event I missed. So I don't know if it's possible for Jeremy to come up. I can see him loitering there in the wings. People who know me know I'm a pretty talkative character, so it's quite hard to do these 2 to 3 minute interviews. But the Draycott Dash, it was actually the only event I missed. I'm very pleased to be here and helping because I think I have a very unique perspective. I was actually on the water at all these events. Draycott Dash, Luke Fisher in Vario had a fantastic first day in the light winds. However, it was Roger just made it. It's good to see it. Ben McGrain tells me you always do a timed run to the start line, so I'm pleased you made it. Who had a better day and actually won the day and took the overall title. But when I think about the Draycott Dash, I think about Fenhurst Books and I think about Jeremy. So, Jeremy, every year you say you're going to stand out, you stop doing it. Can you tell us a little bit about why you started the Draycott Dash and are you finally going to hand over the reins?
Thank you, good morning. I didn't actually start it. I got involved after the first 2 years. When I came on as sponsor to the Furfield Bruiser. And then I ended up taking over the running of the event. So I think we've been sponsored for 8 years now and I've run it for 7.
Okay, that's still incredibly impressive. Who's going to be taking over the ship, and are you actually going to be able to wrench yourself away completely? I know, having been involved with the Ilka class for many years, it's quite hard to let go.
It is, and having 2 hats on, both as previously the club's Commodore and sponsor, has been hard. But I'm delighted that actually the person I sail with, Richard Boffin, has decided to take over, so we'll be sharing it this year, and then in 2 years' time, hopefully it'll be very smooth, and I have no involvement.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jeremy. We're going to move on to the Datship Flyer.
No, top class, thanks.
Oh, top class.
Sorry.
Okay.
Right, okay, that's my bit. So basically, we run something called the top class. It's based on the best 3 results of each class across each race. So it's all about really getting your numbers out there. And this one gets hotly contested by some of the bigger classes, but also some of the smaller classes. Mentioned the RYA, they've done very well. They get typically 5 boats out there, so they're punching above their weight. So moving on, when they come up for your presentation of your prizes, if you can move over to the side where you'll see Richard from Seldén and Claire will give you a prize. We can move there just to keep things going. So in third place was the RS 200. They had a good number of boats out there, I think about 20 in regular attendance. I don't know if anyone's here from the RS 200 class. Okay, moving on. Very closely fought between the Laser family. For a long time the Ilka 7s were leading, and I think they're previous winners of this award. But it was their smaller sister, is it? The Radials who took it. So congratulations to the Laser class. I don't know if anyone's here, if they can come up and collect their prize.
Right, Ellie.
Hi Ellie, you head that way. Head that way, Ellie. Well done. I think that's Ellie of the...
So Ellie's the class secretary, and I can see the esteemed chairman sat there in the front trying to hide behind the cameraman.
Right, okay, so moving on, John. December.
So you can see this is all perfectly well rehearsed. We're just doing this to prove that it's recorded, that it is live. I did the dash at Flyer. You can see from the footage here, I think Flyer might have been a bit of a misnomer, but it was a fantastic event. Nearly 100 boats taking place, and it was very diverse, pretty crowded Marans, and yeah, it was challenging for competitors and challenging for race teams alike. I had the winner interview with Rachel. I'm going to struggle now. Rachel Gray, having known somebody as a different surname for many years. And Tom Giddard, who always seems to be hiding when it's his time to step in front of the camera. So that was a really good event to have nearly 100 boats, considering the forecast. We just did the prizes for the top class, and I do wonder if the Ilka 6s just snuck in front of the Ilka 7s due to the forecast of a very, very windy Tiger Trophy, but we'll come to that next.
Right, okay. So moving on to the next prize round, keep the video playing. So the next one is the Great British Sailing Challenge Extracted Rankings. So the first group we're going to be looking at is the age group. We're trying to do a bit like park run, break things down by different slices and give everyone a chance. These results are based on every race, so not every event, and we have a discard for every 3 races. So some of the events have more races, others have smaller ones, but we count all the races. So looking at the juniors, and it's great to see some new names popping up. So in third place was Joe Rowe, the top-up from the Draycott Academy. Freddie Sunderland in the Ilka 7 from Draycott Water. And in first place, he was our youth champion last year, Harry George, and Ralph Corfin in the 420. I don't know if they're here.
Just a movement at the back.
Oh, well done, Harry. So here comes Harry. And just to mention some of the names in there, we saw Ben and Moyer in RS Fever. A lot of these people are sailing out for the first time. So it's great to see some of the juniors coming along for the series. So moving on to the youth. So third place was Megan Farrer and Ian Blake in the 470. Great to see people trying some of the Olympic class boats. Second was Harry George. Well done. And in first place, and our youth champion this year is Maddie Childs in the Laser Radial, Ilka 6. Let's get it right, from King George. And she takes home this fine trophy from Harkin. Okay, so moving along the categories, we'll quickly rattle through these. In the 1930 group, which is one of the bigger categories, and great to see some of the former youth sailors carrying on. Third was James Williams and Sarah Tuppin in the RS 200 from Chew Valley. Second was a name we're going to see quite a few times, was Ellie Craig in the RS 7, I think now sailing for Starcross. I think Ellie was trying to make it. See Ellie there. And first was Ben Flower in the Laser Ilka 7. You see Ben? Go and see Ben. Okay. Right, moving on to the biggest age category, the 3160s. Guess you might call this the Middle Ages. Third was Nick Craig and Toby Lewis in the GP14. I know Nick can't make it, further engaged. Second place was Luke Fisher in the RS Vario. And first was Roger Gilbert and Ben McCrae. I think I can see Ben over there. Okay, finally the Masters category. Third was Philip Meeking with various crews. Good to see various crews coming along in the Osprey from Warsash. Another Osprey, Roger and James Blake from Great War Sailing Club. Roger here. And first, I think I've seen them, Nigel and Andy Bird.
Okay, I'm already feeling the pressure of time. We're on to the Furfield Bruiser, and I'm just wondering, is Nigel somewhere? Your time is up. It would look very strange if I stood here with a pair of binoculars. So, I remember this event well. I took my dear old mum. You say, don't say I don't doing it. That was her Christmas treat.
Yeah, it was very exciting for us because a year ago we were asked whether we could host the Sailjuice event, and of course with COVID it was a non-starter because everybody went into lockdown. This year we could see all around us as we led up to Christmas, events being sort of cancelled left, right and centre, but we were determined to make it work, and we were delighted to actually be part of this series. And actually have our first sort of Sailjuice event, and I believe everybody had a great time. So we're looking forward to this Christmas coming up as well.
Yeah, well, certainly I hope things would be a lot easier, and I think it just shows that where there's a will, there's a way. That's true in a lot of things in life, not just sailing. Where there's a will, there's a way, and it was a really good event, and it showed it was possible to run in those times. And I think for people's mental health and general enjoyment, the most important thing is we go on the water, and everything else is just a bonus. So thank you very much for your time. And
thank you.
I think the tracking came into its own, didn't it?
Sorry, what?
The tracking came into its own.
Yeah, the tracking did, and I mean, we adopted trackers as a club going back 2 years ago, and we use it for our regular club racing. But what it just goes to show is, using sort of trackers for handicap and sim races, it just makes doing results an absolute doddle. It's hard to see how people get it wrong, actually, sometimes.
Right.
Don't set a challenge.
Okay, thank you, Nigel, and we look forward to coming back to Burfield at the end of the year. So moving on to probably the most important category, the top lady category. Lots of ladies out there either sailing as helms, crews and whatever. So in third place, who was our defending champion, didn't quite make it, perhaps with a windy Oxford, we may have seen her changing modes, is Val Millard in the Challenger from Rutland Sailing Club. Okay, in second place, I think I've seen her. Again, someone who did all the miles, important to get out there, get the results, is Serena in the Supernova from Emberton Park. And first, I think Ellie has been bridesmaid, defending second for a number of years. Pleased to see Ellie Craig at last won the Top Lady Award. You are here. Right, okay, moving on. So the next award is the Trident Top Club Award. So this, like the top class, is based upon the best 3 results from your club each event. And again, hotly contested, particularly as the winning club wins £350 to spend on their club from Trident. So in third place was Burfield. I think perhaps Nigel comes up to collect that again. Burfield have been in the running for this for a number of years. Perhaps next winter, Nigel, will be your turn. In second place is Draycott Water. I think we've seen a few from Draycott, previous winners. From the family Lars, well done. And in first place, I think a previous winner, Lymington Town. I think Peter Pardon. Lymington put up a massive turnout, each event getting at least 3 boats there. And I think that's why they're club champions. Well done, Peter. Right. Okay, so moving on, still my bit, boat types. I said we grouped the boats into different types. So firstly we look at the fast asymmetric, quite a big class made up predominantly of things like the RS400s, with a few of the other boats like the 500 present. So in third place was Jonathan Carter in the Vortex. Jonathan's here. In second place was John Hyzek and Nicky Griffin from the RS400 from Langorse. And in first place, I think we just saw them come up, was Chris and Abigail Lar in the RS400. We saw some great pictures of them flying at Rutland. Okay, so moving on to the fast symmetric. This year it's good to see a big fleet of 505s. I think we had about 10 or so at the Draycott, so they're coming there. So in third place was Tom Jeffcott and Mark Hogan in the 505 from Chew Valley. Second place, you see this name again, Tom Gillard, Rachel Gray in the Merlin Rocket from Staunton Harrow. You saw Rachel there. And in first place, named you'll see plenty of times, Roger and Ben in the 505. Okay, so moving on to the slow asymmetric, mainly made up with lots of RS200s and, as we said, the Varios battling it out. So in third place we have Nick Prickmore in the RS Vario from Norfolk Broads. Second place is James Williams and Sarah Tupping in the RS200 from Chew Valley. And winner, Luke Fisher in the RS Vario. And Luke's done very well this year. Okay, finally moving on to the slow symmetric. Not surprisingly, this is the biggest group that we've seen. So in third place was Peter Barton in the RS Aero 7. I'm going to make Peter walk here. Second place, Nick and Toby Lewis in the GP14. And our winners is Ben Flower in the Laser 7. Right, so the next one is SpeedSix. As Nigel mentioned, we're tracking all the events, which helps with things like scoring and corrections, but also gives us an idea of who's going the fastest. It's been a bit of a quiet winter this year, mainly sub 10 knots, so not surprisingly the speeds have been low, except for that barnstorming Tiger Trophy, John, wasn't it? Which is where all the fast speeds were scored, not surprisingly. So on the adjusted, we adjusted to a handicap as well to give people a chance. It was Ian Stone in the Phantom from Maidenhead Sailing Club. Second was Peter Barton. Again, Peter's going to be fit today, all these prizes he's won in the RS Aero 7. And amazingly, the fastest adjusted was young Ollie Williamson in the RS Aero 5. Sometimes shows the pick your weapon has been correct to get there. I think, amazingly, the Aero 5, Peter was going faster than the Aero 7. And on the adjusted, in third place is Andy Smith in the 505. Great to see the National 18 up there, again from, what was that? At Rutland with Phil Hartsey from the Isle of Man team. I don't know if he's here, but I think I saw some National 18 sailors here. Great to see the class out there. And in first place, not surprisingly, Roger and Ben in the 505. Right, moving on to Gallop.
Okay, I'm going to move on now to the Gallop. I thought we were probably sailing in the only venue in London that had any wind that day. I was quite surprised, and it was very different to the one which I did previously where it was blowing dogs off chains. And I think it just shows that you can perhaps never believe weather forecasts. Probably the principal person behind the event is Mo. Is Mo here?
Peter the Commodore.
Okay, so the George, the name was actually thought of by his late wife, and it's a really key event for him. Is there anyone here from King George? Otherwise I'm going to make Mr. Barton do another walk. I just figure that Pete is trying to get his hiking legs sorted for a windy season by maximising his walk. So one of the wonderful things about the series is it's probably the only time we get nearly all the classes together. And for people, it's an opportunity to see and interact with the other classes. I don't just mean on the water, but the social. The aero, you had a new class this year.
Yeah, the aero class adopted the RS Aero 6 in December this year, and it was fantastic to get a few sixes out. The first demo boats, demo rigs out in the Sailjuice series, and so the Great Lakes handicappers were good enough to give us a P-wide short notice, and it looks about right now, about the middle of the fleet, and especially Sam Beaton had some great time in both light winds and strong winds in Rutland.
So just very briefly, what size of sailor is it targeted to for people who are walking around the show
it's
now?
for small adults, particularly ladies. There was lots of small 7 sailors who got a bit fed up with being beaten up by the good big guys with strong winds, and maybe they didn't want to go quite so small as the 5s. It also gives those adults an option to avoid the youngsters if they choose to. So there's a lot of demography in that weight band, a lot of people in that weight band, around about 70 kilos or just under.
Perfect.
Suit you, John.
I must admit, I'm thinking about planning my Ilka 4 campaign after the Tiger Trophy, but there we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we now move on to the extracted class rankings. So for any class that puts up 10 boats, we'll give you a prize. Some of the classes, Peter's walking away, we'll use some of the events. We were due to use the RS Oxford Blues, the RS Aero Winters. So come and talk to us if you're interested in putting a class on there. So a number of classes. The RS Aero class actually was the biggest class. And in third place was Steve Norbury from Seldén, our kind sponsor, but I don't think he can be here. Second was Ellie and Craig. Very close battle between these 3. And first was Peter Barton. Okay, moving on. The 420s were the second largest class. Great to see them. They used Datshit as one of their class events, and I think we had about good 20 boats out there. In third place was Alice Davis and Oliver Rayner from Greatmore and Draycott. Second was Catherine Byrne and Leah Horn in the 420 from Draycott Water. And first, again a name we keep seeing, Harry, George and Ralph from Lymington Town. Okay, next biggest class was the Laser Radial Ilka 6. In third place was Maddie Childs from King George. And second was Alistair Brown from Stokes Bay, and I think Greatmore. Don't Alistair. And first, someone called Jon Emmett. You have to go down that way, John. So, well done, John. Okay, we've got a few more, we can go get your prize, John. So, RS200s, about 19 of these. Third was Alistair Hodgkin and Ella Spain, they're from Upton Warren. Second was Nigel and Dinah Pepperdine, good to see good families sailing out there. And first was James and Sarah Tuppin in RS200. The solos were a big class. Third was Mike Gray from Littleton Sailing Club. Second was the Fraser Hayden from Paper Court. Patrick Overs was first. I think I missed the Laser Ilka 7, sorry there. Third was George Sunderland from Draycott. Second was Thomas Brindley from Reddismere. And first was Ben Flower from Payton. Thanks for everyone for keeping the flow going. Third was Fraser. Okay, Laser 4.7s, Ilka 4s. So we had all the lasers in the sort of top class grouping. So in third place was Ted Wall from Draycott Water. Second was Stella Nygaard from Draycott Water. Again, pleased to see some young sailors out there. And first was Freddie Sunderland in the Laser 4.7, who's also one of our speed winners. Okay. Finally, we're moving on. A couple more to do. The RS 400s. So in third place was Sam Knight and Chris Bowles from Bartley. In second place was Chris and Abigail Lahr. I saw them somewhere. And in first was John Hysick, Nicky Griffin from Langors. Okay. Finally, great to see so many 505s out there. Fantastic sailing, a difficult technical boat to sail, but they made it look easy. So in third place was Michael Sims and Oliver Davenport from Carsington. In second place was Tom Jeffgate and Mark Hogan from Chew Valley. And, not surprisingly, Roger Gilbert and Ben McRae took the class honours for the 505s.
Tiger Trophy now.
So moving on to the Tiger Trophy, I do sort of remember this event. I got quite a big bang on the head after the first 15 minutes of the race, so I don't think I've quite been the same again. But just hats off to the whole team there for running an event in windy conditions. I know that a lot of clubs have been very concerned about safety. They've been risk adverse. We've just been in difficult COVID times, but I just think that Rutland showed that you can race when it's windy. We had nearly 100 entries, and I sincerely think that the next series we're going to be getting over 100 entries at events. And yes, we had less than 20 finishes, but the people who went round the race scores, at least by the time they got to the bar afterwards, I think they had a lovely time. Probably no surprise that Roger and Ben won. I see a trend going on here, Roger, that Ben seems to do all the hard work. For the benefit of the tape, Roger's nodding. So for me, it was a particular low point when Roger came steaming past with about 15 minutes to go in the pursuit race. But really worthy winners, and I just will repeat again, if you look at the pictures and the video, they really don't do the event justice. I would love to have the opportunity now to talk a little bit about the Tiger Trophy and the Jon Merrick's Trust. We don't have time now. But Jon Merrick's was a very special sailor, and there's been just so many good things, including Olympic gold medals that have come out of the Jon Merrick's Trust, and I would really suggest you guys to look at that, and I can't think of a more worthy host.
Right, okay. So moving on, just a quick sort of announcement for some of the events coming up. We have the postponed Yorkshire Dale's Brass Monkey happening on the 1st and 3rd of March, then some other summer events. If you're interested in doing these multi-handicap events, it does continue through the summer and then through to the next winter, which we'll come on to a minute. Right. So next one we're going to do is the Craftinsure family rankings. I see Rob is there. Perhaps Rob can come up. This was a new addition, John, wasn't it, Rob?
This is Rob.
That's John.
So we're pleased to have the support of Craftinsure. Firstly, they've helped us out with the media, and thank you to Tim Olin there, who's taken thousands of pictures, and that's down to support of Craftinsure. Makes a big difference in the number of videos. But something that Rob managed to introduce this year is the family rankings, and I think that was something passionate to your heart, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah. The Craftinsure are really pleased to support the Sailjuice Winter Series. Most of us have sailed and done other events I've only run for a number of the years. And for us, it's quite nice to have to sail with family members, and I think the sport sailing is one of those great sports where you get the whole family involved. And occasionally my daughter will deem to prove to me and help nurse her around the racetrack. So we're really excited about supporting the family prizes. We think it's important in the sport, and congratulations to the winners.
Yes, so the way this works as quickly is you can either sail as a family in the same boat, that can be siblings, parents, wife, or you can be different boats, and we saw a mixture of that, and numbers were growing, probably to about a good 100 competitors taking this as a family exercise. So in third place is Roger Blake and James Blake in the Osprey. Second was Chris and Abigail Lahr, father and daughter, and they look like they're still talking to each other. And first was Nigel and Andy Bird, and I think also your son came with part as well, didn't you, Nigel? So true family, but not three in an enterprise. And they win some great prizes. I think we have some Craftinsure prizes, and I think they get some free insurance, don't they, Rob? Okay, so moving on, we need to rush her through. So top 10.
Close that microphone.
Okay, so I'm going to rattle through these. I'll do my best with the names in case a bit of dyslexia attacks me. So 10th place, RS200, James William, Sarah Topham, CVLSC. Okay, I can do the 9th, RS Aero, Ellie Crane. We've been here previously, so you must be here now. 8th. Okay, 8th, me. 7th, hiding at the back, RS7, B. Martin, Leamington Town SC. 6th place, I believe, is not here, the GP14 of Nick Craig with Toby-tastic Lewis from Furfield. If it is possible for somebody to collect the prizes, the people that are absent would be great. 5th, Enterprise, we have the Birds. I know they're here. 4th, Merlin Rocket. I see a trend here where it's the crews who are doing all the work. We have Rachel Gray, who did it all single-handed. A broken toe, apparently. We got another Ilka here. We had 3rd place was Ilka 7 Ben Flower. I know he's not here because you'd hear him. 2nd, there's going to be an orderly queue now. RS Vario Luke Fisher, again not here. And 1st overall, is Roger going to join you, Ben? Come on, kids, get him up. Roger Gilbert, Ben McGrain, Nick the SC. And when we've done that, you can come up and join me and make me look even shorter. So I feel bad because they've both done an interview with me already, and I think once is more than enough. Once is too much, as Roger said. I see you've had your ears lowered and you're all prepared for the summer. And just can you tell us a little bit about your experience of the series as a whole? Because you did a fantastic job, light winds, medium winds, strong winds, and Lizard's Peasboat. You were one of the few in the top 10 looking at the results, if not the only one.
I mean, we've always done a lot of winter sailing throughout the years, probably going back to some youth sailing a little bit. It's sort of an important part of the year. I think these events allow people to keep racing. And for us, it's always worked really well as sort of part of our training for them to win events for the summer. So I think this year especially, we have mixed conditions, good turnout of different boats, and it's nice to be going to some different venues as the series has expanded.
And what would your top tips be for the club sailors who are thinking about doing the series for the first time this coming series?
I think, a lot of it really is to get involved. It's handicap racing, it's the same as what you do at the local club on a slightly larger scale. There's racing within the racing, 505s that turn out of boats, the aeros, as we turn out of it, and I think you see that across the board really. So I can't really sort of emphasise that enough that they're a good transition, I think, from doing your club racing to maybe think about going and doing local meetings or national championships. And it gives you something to aim for through the winter in the last time of the year.
Yeah, it keeps you sailing through the winter. Finally, what's your key event, your top event this year? Hopefully you're both thinking the same.
In the summer this year, we'll be going off to the 505 Worlds in Ireland. That's sort of the main goal.
So very best of luck in Ireland, guys.